I mean, Tropic Thunder is going to be his all-time favorite movie,
I
probably.
don't care. I
No,
don't
he's the
fuck all you
best.
woke people. That's one of the best movies, best comedy movies of all time. The start of James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC universe with Creature
Yes,
Commandos.
young misfits. It's almost like Goonies in space, uh, and adventurous, and it has this ET feeling, and it's just like had this fully retro feel to it.
Because Dragon Ball Z, we grew up with that, right? They've already set the expectation of what kind of battle you want. And you want a Dragon Ball Z battle. This guy's a
Yeah.
bastard, man. Like, because I related to him because I'm an uncle as well. But I'm like, you're a bastard. I would never do that as an uncle. What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out Podcast. We are back. We are back. It's been a while. The brothers have been very busy. A lot of stuff going on. So we'll share with you what's been going on during the updates. But guys, just to quickly put out there, check the description. As always, the timestamp will be in there. So if you want to skip the brothers update, if you want to skip real world issues and all that sort of stuff and get straight to the news or movie reviews or whatnot, the flexibility is there. So check the description for the timestamp. Guys, if you haven't already, please do like, subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we've been getting great feedback and response recently. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But yeah, for today's episode, as usual, we're going to give the brothers updates, let you know what we've been up to. It's going to be 4 weeks since the last pod. Once this is released, it'll be 4 weeks since the last podcast. So we've been busy. Life's been busy and
Mm.
whatnot. I'm going to give you a quick thoughts on real world issues and stuff that we've been following and our thoughts around that. We've watched a few things, movies, TV shows, all that sort of stuff. Give you quick thoughts on what we think about what we've watched, and then we'll finish off with some news as usual. But yeah, Kibbs, man, what's been keeping you busy, bro? I'll go into my stuff later, but what's been keeping you busy? I know everyone's ill, the girls have been ill. How's the family? What's been going on? You've been up to stuff. Tell us, bro,
Yeah,
what's been
no,
going on?
it's been busy. Well, kind of busy, but the whole house has been ill, so everything's always like three times, four times harder to do. I mean, Laura was quite ill last week. She's actually got, she doesn't fall ill. Even if she
Mm.
has like a sniffly nose and cough, she'll still go into school. Last week she was rough, man, like very high temperatures, and like she just wanted to cuddle, and yeah, she was going through it.
Mm.
That was like her end of year good night finish flu, basically. Because she did really well, bro, to be honest. Same thing with Nia. They don't really get ill. They've been really good. Yeah, they'll have a snotty nose and stuff, but it wouldn't like bother them. They've all had high temperatures. Uh, so that took a lot of time last week. Took a lot of time last week. And then
Did she
trying to
have to
work as well and
did she
stuff.
have to take meds and stuff?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just take
Do
meds.
you do you give the kids like kid vitamins and stuff like that? I mean, because
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
it's the winter
Yeah.
season and whatnot. I mean, I don't know nothing about kids' health and everything like that, to be honest with you. Obviously, it's very sensitive and everything.
No,
But
it's good. They
I
always just
know. Yeah, I was gonna say I know vitamin D is something that's always we're deficient in, right? Because one in the UK, being that in Dubai I get sun, but in the UK we don't get much sun. If we
mm,
do, it's only during the summertime, especially during the winter, especially like daylight saving, you don't get much daylight and sun,
yeah,
which
at all,
lack of
yeah.
vitamin D. Also, because of our color pigmentation, it's a protective against the sun, so it's even harder for
Yeah.
us to absorb the sun. So I don't know, like again, obviously look into kids supplements and stuff, but like vitamin D and multivitamins for kids definitely keep their vitamins up.
No,
Even for
they
you
do. They
guys, you keep your vitamins
Yeah, no, I
up.
take mine, but I think it was just struck me down as well. Which is fine. Which is fine. We when you get older, you just get through it. You just do your about work and all the rest of it. But what else has been happening? What else has been happening?
But
We did the Moana 2 screening that Ati went to, which I watched it again with Alara, which was okay. Uh, Yesterday I was on an episode with the Small Time Critics, which was really good. So shout outs to Mo and Mohammed Hashi as well for having me on. Kem, as I said, we miss you, but I know you're taking a little break, which is cool. Uh, do we do any other screenings, bro?
yeah, we're gonna talk about stuff. I think you done Skeleton Crew, right?
Yes, Skeleton Crew. Yes, we did Skeleton Crew, and hold
Was
up,
it
man. The only way I can remember now, that's how bad my memory
so
is.
much
It's going
Skeleton
through
Crew?
our Instagram.
I'm
my
trying to
Instagram
remember
page.
what you did as well. Yeah, I know you done Skeleton
Yeah.
Crew.
So Skeleton Crew, Moana, yeah, Skeleton Crew and Moana. Those are the
Okay.
two I remember. And the Small Time Critics episode, which we talk about Arcane and Moana too.
I want to get your thoughts on Arcane in a bit when we go through like reviews and stuff like that because I've seen loads of stuff. I just never got into it. But we'll go through that, see what your thoughts are. How were the
No, that's
screenings and
cool.
stuff? It's all going good. I mean,
Yeah,
we were
it's all right.
talking a little bit about it. It does get overwhelming. Like I said, we're not young anymore. We got families. We're tired. We're old. You talk about getting
Yeah.
ill. I'm the guy who never used to get ill. And as I'm getting older, bro, not only does my body, I can't keep up with training and all that sort of stuff. I get ill often now, sniffly nose, sore foot, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, how is it with the screenings and stuff like that? I know we were talking and stuff like it's still fun,
No,
obviously,
it's all
to
right.
love
I think,
doing
of
this,
course, yeah,
but
exactly. They are fun to do, but I think with the platform we got and we do everything digital now, that that I don't have to go to all of them. I don't have to go to all of them, and I think that's what's the draining part of it. Like this week's gonna be draining. We're trying to look for cover for somebody to look after Nia, so I can go to them. It's hard, bro. It's really hard. And it's like, okay, what do we do next to kind of work a bit more smarter? So, and go back to the root of why we started this channel is because we love pop culture and comic books and action movies and stuff like that. Uh, and I think sticking to that may be the best thing that we do because it's the stuff we love. All those
mm,
other movies in between that we go to, we don't need to go to. I think, Sis can cover the horror movies and stuff like that. We'll
yeah,
pop
she
up our
enjoys those.
reviews.
Yeah.
We'll pop up our reviews. But, I'm going to start requesting screeners, bro, and do it
Mm.
from home. I think now it's the time and money, bro. Not even that's another part of it as well. It's
Yeah.
£20 every time I go into London. That's
Mm.
standard. That's travel only. That's how expensive and shitty London is now.
Mm.
That's like 20, it's like 16 to £19 on travel. That's a family bucket meal for us, bro. You know what I mean? Uh, so as fun as they are, and the great opportunities that we've got from PR companies, I think I'll do press like the press junkets. That's a definite, without a doubt. Uh, and the movies we want to see, like the screenings and the premieres we want to go to.
Yeah.
I can't. I think it's way too much for us to try and. I think I've outdone it, bro. I was telling the guys at Small Time Critics yesterday. I think I'm outdone it now. Like this week alone, like after this week, I'm like, I have to figure out another way of doing this because it's overwhelming. Overwhelming.
Yeah, and I'm not there to back up certain things as well. But like we spoke about, life is different though, man. If we were young and 20 and
Yeah,
whatnot,
I mean,
early 30s before married and kids, like of course we'll be out in every single one, but we're not that
exactly.
anymore. And I'm not there to back you up with certain screenings. Of course, we have Atia there, but we don't have a full-on team where other people can go. So yeah, I can imagine it's tough. And even I feel like I'll feel the same. I know being at home in the UK is fun to go to a screening, but I'm kind of like, man, I'm only here for like 4 weeks. I would
Mm,
rather, unless it's like a big, Deadpool Wolverine like we did or whatnot. But unless it's something like that, I would rather be at home with the family, with the kids, because that's the time I got with them, than go to a screening. And like you said, man, like we fell into that trap with our first channel, remember, right? Doing
mm.
reactions and everything for movies and stuff that we weren't interested in. Even though it worked, we got thousands of views and thousands of subscribers, and we're just like, I don't like this. This is boring. And that's the whole reason why we created this whole new channel to just do what we want to do, what we like. So we don't want to fall
Mm.
into that trap again with screenings and stuff. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. I think it's like yeah, trying to work a bit more smarter this time around. And we could do screenings at home, you know what I mean? Like we don't have to go to like the Netflix TV show ones. Like, I'll start getting screenings for them at home. I'd rather do that, bro. Any TV shows and stuff like that, I'll request a screener. Uh,
Yeah. Well, with those, I can help too. If you could get screeners, and say my co-host brother is in Dubai, so allow his IP to get it as well, then I could support as well. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
Like with those ones, so you don't have to sit there watching TV all day either. So yeah, no, I mean, we definitely got to find a way. And inshallah, one day when I'm back in the UK, we're together, then we can, there's more that we can cover together in the same place and whatnot. And obviously, we're still
Exactly.
trying to get some of the screeners in Dubai, which, I know some responses have come through. We got a couple Warner Brothers ones, but it's still tough, right? It's still tough to get in there. And I do want to get in there. I do want to get in there, but we'll see how that goes, man. But the main thing is this, man, like doing our podcast, doing the reviews and stuff that we want to do and we want to geek out on, man.
No, exactly.
I have to just give shout outs to like some of the positive comments that we've been going. Listen, when I say I don't read comments, like I don't really take attention to the negative ones, right? I might see them, I don't take attention to them, I leave them. But the positive ones is what I want to absorb, because generally with comments, right, you read all the positives and the negative ones that stick in your head. I'm trying to do the opposite. And we got some great comments recently, just saying like one of them was saying, man, guys, love what you guys are doing, love your content and stuff like that, which is, shout outs and all love. The other one was like when we were doing the teaser for Guyver, and they were like, "Oh my God, I have to watch this!" Like, and what that made me feel was like that's someone like, my God, you're doing a review on a classic movie that they probably enjoyed, and we do it because we enjoy it. Like we picked Guyver specifically because like we enjoyed it. The movie reviews and stuff that we do is like, well, let's do a review on that because that movie I enjoyed or that deserves
Exactly.
not because of like a studio, whoever's saying, "Oh, guys, watch this and give us a review." It's like, nah, listen, not interested in that. Like, I'm interested in what we want to review. So I love those. That made me feel like, you know what, Kips, no matter what, we have to keep doing what we want to do.
No, exactly, bro, exactly.
Yeah, man. Well, I've been freaking busy myself, bro, man. So I mean, look, I did come back for a 2-week vacation. I went to Georgia for a week, which was absolutely beautiful. It was nice. It was cold. I mean, listen, man, we got into, unfortunately, we're at the worst time ever, right? First of all, the weather was basic the first 2 days, raining and everything. So we actually explored the city just wet. We had to admit the fact that we're going to get soaked wet. Otherwise, we can't just sit in this basic hotel. We booked a shitty hotel. I got a deal and it was a basic hotel. Anyway, so the first 2 days, weather was basic, soaking wet, cloudy, didn't really get a chance to see much views, but we saw some historical sites and all that sort of stuff. Secondly, we went right in the middle of a protest, man. So they're currently protesting. I don't know much about it, and you might have seen some stuff on the news because it got violent. Thank God on the day that we walked directly through, it wasn't violent, but it got violent as unfortunately these things do. But it's something to do with like joining the EU, kind of breaking ties with Russia, that sort of stuff, because they don't really like Russia. It used to be I think it used to be old Soviet Union. But we had some beautiful like castles. They're very religious there, like Catholic religion. I believe it's Catholic religion there. So there's old like monasteries and all that sort of stuff. One of the days we went to some beautiful mountains. I'm a mountain guy, so I love going to the mountains. And it's the first time I've experienced snowy mountains, because I've always seen, beautiful green mountains or rocky mountains, which I love as well. But this was like snowy mountains, and we were in the snow, and it was nice. I loved it. I'm at peace when I'm in mountains. So it was just really nice. Nice to get away. And Georgia was a country that like we didn't really think about, but just being in the region, I'm glad that we're exploring some of these countries and whatnot. People were cool, but they seemed like very like stern people, like hard people. So old Soviet Russian people or whatnot, Soviet Union people, sorry. But they seem very stern. I mean, in the UFC, you've got 2 Georgian champions and whatnot. But like, I'm not saying that they're not friendly, but then I wouldn't have tried to approach anyone and have a conversation. Like, hey, how you doing? And do you speak English? And no, I just didn't feel that vibe. But not saying that they would have been mean about it. They just seemed very stern and whatnot. But it's a very developed country. I mean, it's like hardworking people. You don't see any like luxury cars or any of that sort of stuff. It's just like, it just seems like a hardworking place. You know what I mean? A very stern place. I wouldn't say poor. I wouldn't say rich. It's kind of like in the middle, underneath middle type of thing. But it was a nice experience, man. It was good to just get out there and enjoy it. We tried to enjoy it as much as possible despite the weather and the protest stuff going on. But yeah, that was nice. And then we had a week off last week because I had vacation to take. I messed up, man. I get too consumed with life and process and work. I haven't taken my vacation. If I don't take them by December, I lose them. So I took a week off in Dubai. Kind of took an opportunity to chill. We went to like we'd done some road trips and whatnot. Went to another state called Fujairah, which was
Yeah.
nice. Just saw some beautiful mountains again and a couple of sites. But you know, that was nice. I One thing I noticed though, I do struggle to chill. I struggle to chill so much. I'm so routine orientated. Like when I'm
Yeah.
not in routine, I have anxiety. Like I literally couldn't sit there. Like my plan was to just sit on the sofa and watch movies and TV and play games and whatnot. 20 minutes in, I start getting anxiety, like, oh, you got to do something. Like, and I'm like, no, G, it's your vacation, please chill.
Yeah.
I done a bit of training in the morning, just soft stuff, but not going to the gym and doing like MMA or whatever. I felt
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I need to do something. So I struggle with chilling. I really do, man. And I don't know why, what's wrong with me, but I have anxiety when I should be chilling. I just can't because I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like I need to do something, man. But you know, that was last week. I got back into routine this week. And then 2 more weeks and I'll come back to the UK. So I can't wait. The next episode after this, maybe we should be doing it in person, maybe.
Mm.
But yeah, just trying to get back into routine. A lot of stuff to catch up on with work. I also try to figure out training, man, because I trained this morning. So I went to the AM today,
Mm.
7 a.m. class. And what I found is I come back home by 9 a.m. and I like log on to work. And I'm like, I have less anxiety because evening training, right, takes out 4 hours of my day. So I gotta
Mm.
rush my work, I gotta rush my food, I gotta rush this podcast, whatever, right? And then I got to get out for training. And if I don't go out for training, I miss it. I get stuck in traffic, all that sort of stuff, right? And
Mm.
it's 4 hours of my day. By the time I come back in the evening, that's it. I got to go straight to bed. Doing the AM class. Now, yes, you got to wake up at 5 a.m. I used to do that before. I don't mind it. What it is, it does mess up my sleep. But bro, I came back with less anxiety. I'm like, oh, my training's done. Like for the
Yeah.
day, I could take my time on when I want to eat. I could take my time going through all my work properly, going through the
Yeah. Yeah.
emails, like everything. So I need to figure out a new routine with training, man. The problem is the gym, it doesn't only AM classes it has is Muay Thai. So when I could do wrestling, when I could do jiu-jitsu, I need to figure that out.
Mm.
But I definitely prefer my AM training, man. I really do. So I need to figure that sort of stuff out. But there's a lot I need to figure out. I don't know why I can't chill. My wife was like, gee, you took a week off to chill. So why can't you? Why do you have to clean the car, clean the garden, or do some work? I'm like, I don't know. There's something in my head where I need to earn a chill. I need to earn it. If I don't earn it, I don't feel like I can chill. And I don't know, kind of messed me
Hard
up
to.
a
I
little
think
bit.
we're hard to switch off at the moment now because we're consumed with so much stuff that needs to be done. It's like putting the bins out, and I just realized the weather's been quite bad in the UK at the moment. So like my neighbor's fence is all over the place, bro. Yeah, the wind had a game with his fence, bro.
I heard there
Like
was a
his
storm
fence.
in the
Yeah, it was a
weekend.
his like fence is like all tangled up and shit.
Oh,
Like
Lord.
it did a roll it, it rolled into one, bro. I'm like, oh, bro.
That fence needs to be changed regardless of if it rolls on itself.
I was looking at it this morning. I was like, because I was thinking about it. I was like, right, I haven't even checked the garden since all that storm shit happened. And I go to check, and I was like, alhamdulillah, like our ones, because we got them done last year. I think they're sturdy. But I've realized that we had some pallets leaning on one, so one of the fences kind of like leaning. That's fine. I moved it this morning. Then I looked at his fence, and I was like, oh my god, you loser. I think he just left it. He saw it. It was like, I'm not even gonna touch this. But it goes into the next person's uh the next neighbor's garden, and I'm like, oh, blowing.
He's gonna have some problems if you don't sort that
This
out, man.
country's still not set up for stuff like this. This is what I understand. Centuries and
Well,
centuries of all of this madness. Yeah, train delays. Piccadilly was off. Like yesterday morning, bro, trying to get to small town critics was quicker. It is quicker to jump on train. I won't drive there again. But every line, bro, bus up. Every overground, bus up. Like, come on, man. You guys, you're told like a week or 2 days before this is happening, you to have some precautions. You guys ain't got no money to do it. We ain't got a
it's
budget.
so
Just leave it.
weird.
Whatever happens, happens. Just let it happen. And I'm like, so you're gonna like January, you're gonna rise the money up to £1 to jump on a bus. £3.20 on a bus fare, bro.
Oh my
Three
God.
pound twenty on a bus fare. That used to be train fare. Now train is gonna be like £4 or £5 now.
Jeez.
But where's all that money going to? Like, yeah, you're doing works, but like, what has it done positively to make the people think, yeah, they've made a difference? I mean, let alone us paying road tax, bro. These roads are
Mm.
worse than Bangladesh, bro. You know what I
But
mean?
you know what it is, man. Like our money, like tax money, that money, don't go to shit, man. They pocket it. I mean, but I lived in Singapore and even Hong Kong. Do you know how efficient and cheaper there's public transport system? Bro, you don't even need a car. Like in Dubai, they don't have a system. So let alone you're saying this that country,
Yeah,
UK.
yeah.
Dubai, in my opinion, had the, and it does do this, but it's still didn't prepare itself. Like you had the experience to learn from everyone else, which they did. But what they invested on was big buildings, big fancy looking buildings and shit. But like all the money in the world, and all the experience from all the countries in the world to build like a big infrastructure of like be it public transport and walkways
Yeah.
and all that. They don't have none of that, right? They have a public transport system only in the city. Walkways, they just approved a like a couple billion-dollar deal to make Dubai more comfortable walking. So they're going to build walkways and stuff, obviously mostly in the main city, right? Should have done this before, right? And rain, Dubai's not can't handle the rain either. Floods and stuff, things getting flooded, buildings breaking down and whatnot, leaking and stuff. The main mall, the biggest mall in the world has leaks and stuff when it rains. So they're not, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. Like Dubai, I get it. Like, I don't get it, but I think it's Dubai was like, make it quick, make it look nice. Instagram. I keep saying it, Instagram. Look nice. I don't give a
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
what happens
yeah.
in the background. So no country's perfect, man. I mean, look, Singapore done a great job though, but their public transport efficient and cheap. You never need
Yeah,
to buy.
yeah.
You never need to buy a car there. Like if I live, I mean, if you had a family and stuff, yes, but you don't need to have a car there. That's why Singapore done it really well. So, but I don't know, the UK, man, it will never change. They put the price up, it will never change. I don't think the public transport, the efficiency, the prices, it won't change. But the crazy thing
Bro,
is,
you know,
I'm planning to come back home in a couple of years. I'm trying to figure that shit out, though.
I'll be honest, bro. Like, it's home, but it is an absolute joke right now at the moment. And it's weird. Like, we never used to be in politics and all the stuff that's going around. You know what I mean? It's only as we got older, you want to find out what's going to happen in your kids' futures. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Mm.
this is like an absolute reality show right now. And I know we're going to get into the real world stuff now, yeah? It's an absolute comedy show at the moment. Our government system is a comedy show. Doesn't matter which government system, to be honest. I think the American and the UK and the Europe government system right now is a comedy show. It's a comedy reality show with a bunch of puppets on that do not know what the hell they're doing, bro. But they're only there is to take the blame. And I've learned that, and I think in the last 10 years that the politicians we've had in the past 10 years are just there to blame. They're not actually there to do anything. They are there to blame. Now, we I think it's been when was the last time we had a revolution where the people actually stood up against Parliament and said, you know what? Yeah, you guys ain't doing shit. And I
Well, they've
don't know
been
when that
trying
was.
for Gaza. I mean, they've been trying
I mean,
for
they're
Gaza,
trying, I
but
know.
clearly, like you said, I mean, it's a comedy show because there's agendas, man. It's not for the people, bro. It's never for the people. It's for their own gain, right? End of the day, right? Their own empire gain. But we're in the biggest empire and the most successful empire of all time, which is the American, the Israeli, the Western Empire. I don't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
know
yeah.
what to put it. And it's all to further that empire. Forget every other country in the world, bro. Like, and forget the people. It's to further
Mm.
that empire in the world. And that's what everything, the capitalism, so-called democracy, finger quotes, fake ass democracy that we're supposed to have. It's all to get that global empire that the US has imposed on the world. And it is the biggest empire. We're in it right now. I wouldn't actually I shouldn't say that. It's still brutal. There's still brutal killing. We're seeing what's happening in Gaza and other countries and whatnot. We'll get into that sort of stuff. But it's a little bit different from like the Roman Empire and Genghis Khan and all the other ones, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was that was literally like millions of men walking into a area, slaughter everyone, take the land, take the women, take the all that. So now they do it with drones and bomb stuff, but the empire is more about commodity as well. Like, oh, we want to Starbucks, McDonald's, own all the business, make sure all the Hollywood movies like publicize propaganda as well. Like these guys are bad, put it in the movie. Everything, bro, is the empire. It's not just conquering land, which is what they're doing and stuff like that, and taking down other government stuff. It's and so on everything, the propaganda, the news, the movies, the food, everything. It's whole thing is a part of the empire strategy. It's
Mm.
the biggest empire ever, man. It goes down in history. I don't know what will happen in 100 to 1,000 years, but they will speak about this empire, just like they speak about Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan or whatever. They will speak of this empire that's happening now.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. I gotta say,
Yeah.
it is absolutely crazy because at the moment now, all I see is like every time it's weird. I listen to radio on the way to work and on the way back, and usually it'd be hip hop or something uh classical. It'd be soundtracks or something. But I've been listening to the radio a lot, and the people that come on the radio station, some of them are very educational, very what's the word? Intelligent in the way they talk about things, but there are some people, bro. And this is what scares me because this is what works with the politicians is there are some people, bro, like have got like this charade over them, like the way they talk about Keir Starmer, the way they talk about Trump, and it's like I don't even know what part of the human race you are, or are you an alien? Because Trump looks like a melted orange ice cream. And you're trying to tell me this guy is like the best thing in the world, like he's gonna change the world. I'm like, the guy's got his own agenda. He's a puppet again. I don't know how that puppet is back on there again, but it works because people are gonna vote for it. You know what I mean? It's a reality TV show, bro. At the moment, government and people of power it's like Big Brother. That's what they are. That's all it is now. There's
It's
bigger
control the
works in the
people.
background playing. It's controlled, as you said. Uh,
Their
that's
main
horrible. It's
strategy,
horrible.
one of the main strategies is control the people. And one of the ways you control the people, as well as many other ways, is you have to turn people against each other as well.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
them
yeah.
fight each other as well. Let them have groups. Like whether Trump is the best thing in the world, well, I don't know why people say that. No politician and government is the best thing in the world, right? No one's gonna
Exactly.
really change the world for the positive, really, right?
Exactly.
Whatever even if Trump wasn't in power and they elected Kamala or whoever her name is.
Yeah,
That was bad anyway. Fucking starting World War
exactly.
III with Russia, blowing up Gaza. So they were bad anyway. So Trump coming in, I don't think it makes any difference. It's just the same
No
shit.
difference.
Maybe,
Exactly.
listen, you never know. He might do something, or his policy might do something that might change. You never know. But stop the wars. I know he's very adamant about stopping the wars, but Russia and Ukraine, yeah, not Gaza. He's looking to support Israel as much as possible. And he's got the most pro-Israeli government people in place or whatnot. So it's not going to do shit for that region. It's going to fuck up the Middle East even more because it's going to be pushing Israel stuff. But
Yeah.
that's which is hard, which is going to be bad for the Palestinians and stuff like that. But we don't know what else. Maybe you can stop the war in Russia, Ukraine. You're going to take A+ in the world, even though some people are still going to suffer, which is unfortunate. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but. Yeah, man, it turns people against us. Like, I don't care about any government. That's why I haven't voted in fucking how many years. I can vote from abroad. I don't do it. What's the point? I don't see any value in it and I know there's some backlash on that. They're like, listen, your vote will count. I would vote for like Jeremy Corbyn or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe that's something. But the fact of the matter is we know, like, they say like every vote counts as if you get a group of people to vote. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I just haven't seen any change or one. I just not motivated to it. Plus, they complicate politics so much. Bro, us regular people, how am I supposed to know each individuals and their policies, man? You complicate so much, all this news, what are you gonna follow? Some is fake news, propaganda. Like if they
Yeah.
was just like, here's a leaflet or an email, here's the parties, and here's their main policies, bullet points. I'd be like, okay, as an average dude, I could be like, okay, cool. I agree with this policy, I agree with that policy, and whoever tallies up the most policies that I agree with, I guess that would be my vote. You know what I mean? But they don't do that. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know what their policies
Yeah.
are. And I don't have the time to research it. I don't, because
Exactly.
I don't want to invest when I say I don't have the time, it's not an interest of me to invest my time, but it's such an important thing in the world. It's like, why don't you guys make it easier for the regular person to just understand your policies so I can vote? Because you never know with like Starmer or whatnot. Maybe there probably are policies that this fool's got that party's
Mm.
got that I might be like, yeah, I agree with that. But there might be policies that another group has, but I'm like, I agree a lot more on this policy with these guys, so I'm gonna vote for them a lot. But there's no party that's going to have zero policies you agree with, and there's no party that's going to have 100% policies you agree with. It's about just tallying up which one has the most that you agree with, and that'll be best for the future. And then you can
No, of
vote for
course,
them.
bro.
But who knows? I don't know shit. Fucking nobody's for the people except maybe Jeremy Corbyn. I don't even know what freaking group he's with. That's what I'm saying. I'm so out of the loop with that shit.
Yeah, at the moment, bro, it's a joke. It's a horrible, horrible joke, and yeah, it's not the lick at the moment. Now it's a comedy show, bro. It's an absolute comedy show. It's like I uh I don't see no results happening, and bro, look, man, there's so much still going on. Uh, we at the brink of war, bro. You know what I mean? It's gonna what they're doing as well. They're trying to separate people even more, but people are coming together. I mean, now they've invaded Syria. It's insane, bro. Look at this, all the shit that's kicking off at the moment. Like, yeah, I don't know what's happening, bro. At the moment, it's crazy. That part of the
Yeah,
world is crazy at the moment,
it is.
and
I
it's
mean, look,
heartbreaking to see all the stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, look, I did like there was a couple positive things that happened in regards to that stuff. Like one, that devil Yahoo and his defense minister, that freaking devils, those two devils, and the Hamas dude as well. Those devils were finally the ICC did put out the arrest warrant for them, right? And whatnot, which is great. Now, so that's a positive thing. It's a statement to the world to let them know that, the West, like you guys are accountable for some of your stuff. I mean, listen, there's a lot of UK and US presidents and prime ministers that should be on that list. They should have been like what do you call it? Bush and all them lot should have been on that list, the arrest warrant list as well. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But in one way, it's a statement to say the whole world disagrees with you, and the whole world sees what kind of monsters you are, and we want to arrest you, basically. You should be arrested, right? On the other
Yeah,
side, right, so many Western countries, especially the US, have just turned this international law into a piece of shit. It don't
yeah,
mean nothing because clearly they're like, oh, it's our ally. We don't agree with you. We're gonna sanction the ICC. You guys are racist. You guys are anti-Semitic. It's like the worst thing ever. The US is literally, and Israel, obviously, and some European countries are literally have turned their international courts and law into bullshit. Basically saying like the hypocrisy is crazy. Basically saying if we do war crimes, it's cool. If anyone else does it, get them. So because they were super happy about Russia and Putin, putting a arrest warrant for him. But when it comes to that devil Yahoo, oh no, you guys are racist. How could you do this to us? It's pathetic. But from a global, what's the word? PR perspective, it definitely
yeah.
shows the world and the Western world that, they are bad guys. They are the devils of the world and they're creating harm. So that was one positive sort of thing. The other thing was this, you brought up the Syria thing, which is confusing. I don't know much about this and I'm trying to research a little because I'm very confused. All I know, like from my understanding, and I need to learn more about it, is the Assad government, right? And his father before that, they ran a dictatorship government for the last 50 years, which is supposed to be brutal, right? I'm talking about murdering hundreds of thousands, displacing millions, and all this sort of stuff, right? So they were bad anyway, but they were backed up by Iran and Russia, right? As far as
Mm.
I understand. Now, the rebel group is being backed up by apparently the US and Israel, right? So in my head, I'm like, well, if they're backing them up, I don't know what's positive, right? But the whole world is actually because the rebel group is always who you want to fight for, right? It's the rebels, you know what I'm trying to say? Like they're against the government, especially a dictator government, which I'm hearing from everyone. And when I mean everyone, I'm not talking about the mainstream news. Fuck the mainstream news. I'm talking about people who were speaking out for Palestine, and I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm talking about people like outside of the Muslims, like
Yeah,
Immortal Techniques. I'll just use an example. He speaks out about how he was, giving credit to the rebels and whatnot. So in my head, I'm confused. I'm like, well, if the rebels are supported by Israel and US, and Israel's main goal is the Greater Israel Project, which includes Syria. They've already tried to claim a mountain. They already occupied the Golan Heights, I believe, which is Syria. US occupy a whole part of Syria as well with the military stuff. They've already claimed a mountain and they're creating a buffer zone. The buffer zones mean they're trying to occupy more land. So they're Great Israel project. So I'm kind of confused. So like, well, I'm confused. Do the rebels like are they? I don't know. I'm really confused. Like, do we support the rebels or not? Everyone is. So I'm like, yes, listen. Because from what you're seeing, bro, that dictatorship was, it was brutal. So for the rebels to overcome that Assad government, and I think he's fled to Russia, it's kind of like, okay, that's a good thing. But
Yeah.
Israel is already bombing a whole bunch of Syrian places, like apparently their military weaponry and stuff like that. Their goal is to take that land anyway. So I'm very confused on Syria. I need to learn more about it.
Yeah.
But you're seeing families being reunited and all this sort of stuff, like, and that's a positive thing. So I'm very confused. I do support the rebels, or actually I don't know what I support there, but I do say, as long as the people are in a better place now, because they've gone through a lot of shit, bro, a lot because of that government. So from that perspective, it's a success. You know what I mean? They overthrown the government. That's what we're talking about. Rebellion against a dictatorship government. I'm just confused about the back end, and now Israel's already bombing them and going to try and steal some land and shit like that, as they do, because they're a racist
colonizing bastards, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to learn more about that one, but that one confuses me a little bit. So I need to learn about that one. But with Palestine and stuff like that, it's still what's happening there is still heartbreaking. I mean, still no solutions. They had a ceasefire with Lebanon that was supposed to be a positive thing, but Israel apparently he's broken that ceasefire like over 100 and something times, something like that. And I'm like, I don't get it, man. I'm like, why does the world let them get away with it? But the world let them get away with genocide, so of course they're gonna get away with breaking the ceasefire. Of course they're gonna get away with invading Syria. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, the US basically has allowed Israel to get away with everything, which means Israel gets away with everything, right? So that ceasefire was a positive thing, man. I remember messaging Habib and say, listen, I'm happy to hear that, man. You know what I mean? But they're breaking that ceasefire so many times, and the moment Lebanon break it once or Hezbollah break it once, the terrorists, they've done it again. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Get your, like, again, the mainstream bullshit media, fuck you as always, BBC and Sky News and New York Times, and fuck you lot, who are just a bunch of propaganda machines. But that ceasefire is possibly a positive thing. But they've obviously broken it. But what's happening in Gaza, what's happening in the West Bank, bro, the amount of land and settlers that they've come in and taken on the West Bank, because their goal is to take that, bro. Now Trump's in power. They're all pushing Trump to make it for Israel to occupy the whole of West Bank, at least. And in Gaza, I mean, Gaza's gone, bro. I heard this was heartbreaking. I heard Norman Finkelstein talk about it, and I think I spoke about this last time. But the way he said it, and it's so true. Like, Gaza's gone. Gaza is gone. There's nothing standing in Gaza. It's gone. Like, it's fucked up. It will take years before they could remove the rubble. It will take years before they get infrastructure. And then they still wouldn't be free. They still wouldn't have airports. They still wouldn't be allowed to have ships and transportation to get in and out of Gaza. It's still a concentration camp. It's still an open air prison. No matter what they say and all that bullshit, if you gave them true freedom to allow them to go in and out of the country, in and out of Gaza, have exports, all that sort of stuff, they wouldn't do none of this shit. Give them freedom and none of this shit will happen. But they would talk about, oh no, we left Gaza. But yeah, you left them in a prison. You didn't give them no exports or allow them to go in and out of the country, air transport, train transport, water, ocean transport, nothing. And then you expect them to kind of build something on that. I mean, Gaza's gone, man. It's heartbreaking that the world has allowed that to happen, man, just because of one superpower, which is the US. And they've nuked people before, Japan. They'll do it again. End of the day, they keep saying Iran and Russia would nuke people, nuke countries. Who's done it? Who would do it? Who would carry on doing it? Israel and US would do it. They've done it before, and they'll do it again.
They'll do it again.
Look, you can't go against the facts. The US is the only one who's ever done it. Two on one country. They would do it again. They would.
No, exactly.
And they want us to believe that only Russia would do it. No, man. They might do. I'm not saying they might not. But the only one out all the North Korean dude and whatnot, I'm not saying that they won't, but that's the only thing keeping those countries safe from being
Mm,
occupied and from being, overthrown. But they need to have nukes as well because they're like, no, we're not gonna allow you to take us over. So we need to have nukes
exactly.
too. And then the propaganda
Exactly.
news will be like, oh, Russia's gonna nuke the world. It's like, no, they might do, but the US have done it before, and they probably will do it again if they don't get their ways, which is scary, bro. Because nuclear war means that we're all dead, bro. We're all dead. Let alone forget any country. We're all dead. The whole world's gone.
Exactly. Exactly.
Literally.
Exactly.
So it's fucked
It's
up. It
it's fucked, bro. Listen, we could talk about this all day, bro, and how much we are close to it as well. And this is why I say watch Arcane because this is based on children on war. That's
Wick,
why it's so good and compelling. Shout outs to Triz Luzent. He said it was Shakespearean when he saw Arcane. Now, Arcane is a massive thing, but just to give you a concept of it, it's based on children of war and what they've had to go through and what sort of mental uh, breakdowns they go through with family, loved ones, but with separated societies. Colonialism, rich and poor. It's very good, bro. You got to watch it when you get the
well,
chance.
let's get into it because we could talk about real world issues all day. But
But yeah,
guys,
we
first,
will. But
yeah,
first thing, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's 70% of you that are not subscribed to the channel. Thank you for the massive influx of love recently. But we raised, I think it was like 260 or £70. No, actually £360 on our Instagram pages due to your donation. Some of you donated. We had a massive donation from Michelle. Massive thank you so much for that. So I'm sending artwork to you just to say thank you for that. That money's going to a good cause. So as you said, let's continue, bro. Let's go.
yeah. Well, look, let's get into some of the stuff that we've watched. Talk about okay. As you was mentioning, tell me about it and tell like maybe I should watch it. So just like, you gave a quick concept of that. What's your thoughts on it?
League of Legends is called Arcane League of Legends. Amazing cast. Haley Stanfield, Ellie
Oh,
Plum, I think is her name.
sorry, man. No, there was one more thing I wanted to mention before we got into
Go
things
on,
we
go on, go
watched.
on.
You know what? Yeah, yeah. Let's get into it because it's a part of it. Just a quick shout out to Dolph Lundgren because he just
Yes.
is cancer free after being
Yeah.
given like 2 years to live, and I think he's been battling cancer for the last 7 years or something like that. I think even
Mm.
while he was making the
Aquaman
Expendables movies and
and
X-Men, all of that
Expendables,
sort of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, like, and he was able to. He said he's finally cancer free. So. I think he's what, 67? He's 67 years undergoing medical. I think he's 67, yeah, now.
Wow.
So for real world issue stuff, just before we get into stuff we watch, I wanted to just kind of like thoughts and prayers to him. Glad he's better. All love to him and whatnot. I think it was a tumor first found in his kidney back in 2015.
Wow.
So it looks like he's cancer free now. So shout out to Dolph Lundgren. Love the dude. Hopefully we'll see him more in some Expendables. Aquaman movies, whatever he's in, man. So yeah, awesome. Sorry, okay, go into it, bro.
Arcane has a big following, bro. It's like, a massive it's a massive game. I've never played the game, never heard of it.
Oh, it's a video
Uh,
game. Okay, I didn't know
yeah.
that.
So Arcane is supposed to be really good. It's got some deep history, it's got some amazing lore. The visuals are stunning. Bro, as I said, bro, I'm quoting Triz here because this is what he said it's Shakespearean. Only and I know why he said that. It's because it has the biblical element, it has the power struggles that people have on both sides of the coin, poor and rich, that we all suffer greed, lust, power, uh, all of those deadly sins, bros. We all doesn't matter which side of the coin we're on, rich or poor, we all seek those things. Yeah. Uh, but it's based on a story about these two daughters named Powder and Violet that end up turning against each other because of their children of war. Their parents died in a war because the rich killed the poor, the underground and the overground. You know what I mean? So you go on this journey with these two, and Vi is much more of a stronger person. She takes on her dad's personalities, but Powder is more, younger. She's insecure. She wants to be protected, but she goes through a really bad mental state where she ends up turning into the Jinx, uh, and end up being raised by some of the bad guys. And bro, it's insane, bro. But it's not that. It's what they did that was amazing that made me get into it even more. Like Soul Blade, we always loved that intro. That the music was
Mm.
amazing, and the battle scenes were really good. And the way they started it off to get you hyped, and then when you play the game, all you can hear is that song. Like I love it. This does that because some of the fight scenes they have in here, bro, is like just like what you would see in the game. The
Oh,
same
sick.
like views, the powers. Uh, it's good, bro. I mean, I've given you a bit of spoilers in there, but that's without letting you understand about who the characters are and what they're gonna go for. To be honest, I didn't think I'd enjoy it. I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but I breezed through two seasons quick. I mean, they're 40-minute episodes. It's only I think 9 episodes a season, and they barely, from when we did the podcast with Small Time Critics, we've barely scratched the surface on the lore of Arcane.
Mm.
And the power struggles that both poor people have and rich people and different societies have. Overall, things that we all kind of suffer to get to. Very deep, bro. Very good. Very good. Very good. Definitely want to check
Interesting.
it.
All right, I'll put that on my
Yeah.
list, man. I'll put that on my list to take care of that, take a look. Since you're getting into it, why don't you talk about Skeleton Crew? Because I could jump in on that one too. Because I actually watched the first two episodes as well. So you went to the screening premiere thing, right?
Yeah, so it was, a Disney screening. It was a Sunday morning. Uh, Taking up my Sunday mornings, man. But yeah, bro, listen, John Watts, who directed all the Spider-Man movie, directs Skeleton Crew, which is a crew of young misfits. It's almost like Goonies in space, and adventurous, and it has this ET feeling, and it's just like had this fully retro feel to it. Everybody's making mistakes, silly things happening. The animatronics and everything was sick.
Mm.
And then you get to the last bit of the episode, and they're just there's one kid there. He's just curious. His mum's not
Yeah.
around. He wants to be a kid. He wants to do. They're under like they seem to be like under strict regulations. Even like the way the driving is on there. It's like a scale electric. Can you see it? It's like
Yeah,
on a.
yeah.
I looked at that and I was like, such a smart idea. Like they've incorporated scale electrics into the Star Wars universe because of control of traffic. So where they stay, can't remember what it was called, but it feels like it's a really controlled, routined environment.
Mm.
And you can't. There's not much. It doesn't seem like there's much freedom to do stuff. But the main character, again, I've forgotten his name, and the elephant boy are
He's
just
cute.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cute, man. It's hilarious. And they discover something and they go on this adventure. I mean, it's all the stuff that we loved as a kid. You know what I mean? So good soundtrack, good visuals, like that little pirate robot is jokes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, it was good fun, man. Skeleton Crew. I'm looking forward to it. I love what they did at the end. So like Jude Law is a Jedi, and I was like, what? This is
Mm.
insane. So like, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this one. This just seems like like we said on our previous episode, we don't know where Star Wars is headed, and like with something like this, you don't need to really head anywhere.
Mm. I was
It's
gonna say the
fine
same
as it
thing.
is. It's fine as it is. It's just good fun, and it's in the universe.
Yeah.
What more could I ask for? It's in the universe. So, I enjoyed the first two episodes, bro. I did watch them again because I was like, I probably missed a few things because again, I was under the weather. So it was like I actually dozed off in the first episode, and that's not because it was boring. 100%, it wasn't boring. It was entertaining all the way through. It's because I was tired. Uh, I dozed off in the beginning for like 10 minutes. Like
Yeah.
just sudden knocked out, bro. And I woke up, what's happening? But then I watched it again after, so I did catch up. I did watch it again because I wanted to watch it because I like what they did in the second episode. So it was like I need to go back and just kind of quickly double check that what did I miss?
Yeah, I agree because I got an opportunity to watch it, right? It came
Yeah,
out Disney Plus, so I got a chance to watch it. I agree because I thought Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Because I keep saying I'm not the biggest fan in the world, but there's something about Star Wars content that I always need to watch, and I
yeah,
give all of them a chance. But the recent ones they've been bringing up. Acolytes and all the other ones and whatnot. I can't remember the name. They all had something to do with the Star Wars universe we once loved and we love, right? And with that, there's too much philosophy, there's too much story, there's too much this and that. And I feel like, you got to concentrate too much and it gets too much into it. And then, if it's not done right or you're not bonding with the characters, you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling this or whatnot. But this one just felt like you said, it's in the universe, but it's just a complete different adventure story. It almost felt like Mandalorian, where I was like, oh, this is not, it's involved, but it's on the outskirts, man. And it's an adventure between Mandalorian and Grogu. I could just sit back and enjoy it. And this is what it felt like. And because it was the kids and everything, like I said, it felt like a Goonies sort of adventure. And whatnot. The kids are funny, they're cute, they're exploratory, if I don't know if that's a word, but it didn't feel like I need to invest my full brain capacity to understand where in the universe this is, who's related to who, blah 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 blah. It was like, oh cool, this is a Star Wars content. There's going to be a Jedi in it, which is awesome. There's the pirates and everything. And these are just a bunch of kids going on an adventure. So this is what made it feel comfortable for me to sit down and watch. So I enjoyed that, and because it did start off with these pirates killing up some other ship or whatnot.
Mm.
And I like the props. I like less the special effects looks great anyway, but the props
Yeah.
and it fits Star Wars. It works, and I was like, this is cool, easy. I could watch this. I don't have to concentrate too much. I have to say the other ones, I'm not joking. Like on my opinion, like I'm concentrating on who's who in the acolytes and I can't remember the other ones, forgive me, but that's the latest one that came out. I can't concentrate on who's who and what did you do and you killed that person's parents and I'm like, oh God, it's too much for me.
Because I think we are oversaturated by it, bro. So think about it. We had a massive break, Return of the Jedi, then 2001 or 2000 we had the prequel stories, and then after that, I think it was like 2015 or 16, we've just been flooded. The past 10 years, we've been flooded with it. So I feel like the patience and the waiting and the excitement of growing into it and loving a movie and loving a TV show, it's gone because that's like a millisecond of juice and that's it. We're on to the next sip. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's hard to see things kind of let it breathe. Like I want things to breathe, bro. Honestly, like I really want to enjoy things. Like there are movies where I'm like, that movie does not have enough. What's the word? It just didn't have enough time to let it breathe.
Yeah, and plus
That's where it's
everything
difficult.
doesn't have to be deep. Everything doesn't
Yeah,
have to be deep. And
exactly.
so yes, you're gonna have those elements to the story and whatnot to build character, to build relatability and whatnot. But why not in that universe, a bunch of kids going on an adventure and they come across a Jedi? Like you said, the place is all structured and whatnot. The kids were asked, what do you want to do at school? And it seemed like there was only like 4 or 5 roles that they have to do. So there's one
Exactly,
kid who's
exactly.
outside who's just like, I want to help people. And they're like, are you trying to say you want to be a Jedi, but they're not saying the word, all that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, yeah.
It's just like, this is cool. And it's like I said, I don't have to concentrate too much. I could just sit back and watch it. And then seeing Jude Law as a Jedi, I was like, oh, this is cool. I was
Yeah.
kind of like, dude, you're in prison and you just got the keys. Why don't you just break yourself out before? But maybe I don't know, maybe he wanted to be in prison for a while.
There's more to
But
it. There's more to it.
I enjoyed it, and I do like that robot. He is funny. He reminds me of the pirate robots, his jokes. But yeah, no, I have to say, I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing more of this as well. And how do I put it, man? I don't feel like it's going to be a chore to watch it. Some recent
Yeah.
stuff, I don't know why. The truth is, I shouldn't just watch it, but there's something about me where I'm invested so much. I'm like, let me just pull it on in the background. Like, in my opinions, Acolyte, in my opinion, Agatha all along. I'm invested in Star Wars. I'm invested in MCU. Just put it in the background. Maybe something great will happen. But this one doesn't feel like it's a chore. It's like, yeah, I can't wait for the next episode, and I will sit down with a cup of tea and sit back and watch it. It's enjoyable.
Mm. No,
Cool,
it's good.
man.
It's a good watch, bro. It is a good watch. I fully enjoyed it. So it gave me that nostalgic feel, without a doubt.
Nice. Yeah, looking forward to more of that. Well, I finished off Tulsa King. Moving on, I finished off Tulsa
Oh,
King season two.
see,
I
I need to
think
catch up on that.
you know what? It is actually again, it's not too much to think about. It's actually
Yeah, yeah,
straightforward. He's kind of like I say, a down to earth modern type of gangster, but he's still a gangster at the end of the day. But you don't think too much about who's related to who and family and
yeah,
like
yeah.
old gangster movies and whatnot. It does have great, Stallone's always been about adding certain principles into his movies and stuff that you could take to life.
Yeah,
Rocky's the
yeah, yeah.
perfect example. And I think he tried to do this one almost like Sonny from Bronx Tales, but in a different sort of way. Because Sonny from Bronx Tales was such an amazing character because he wanted to give the kids and us education on the streets and stuff like that, and life. And I feel like Stallone kind of brought this with the character of Tulsa King to kind of bring him down to a new level of gangster and whatnot. But just how he builds up his empire in this random place called Tulsa. Frank Grillo was in this, and I like Frank Grillo. He's awesome in it. It does show a brutal side of being gangsters, of people getting murdered and shot and stabbed up, heads chopped off, whatever. So that brutality is there and whatnot. And the crew that he has formed is a different type of like a gang. Like he's just got like tech nerds and other sort of stuff like weed
Yeah,
smokers or
yeah.
whatever. And it's kind of like all right, it's fun. It's easy to watch. It's very bright. Like when you watch it, like, you know how bright the sun is right now. It's like a gangster show that's bright, if that makes sense. Like the tones of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I say, the brutality's there when they do the murder stuff. But in general, scenes it's bright. So it's good. I enjoy it. I think they're gonna renew it for season 3 from what I've heard. It's great to see Stallone in I don't want to say his element, but in a way his element because like I say, he definitely is a calmer tone type of dude trying to give life lessons to his crew. He's trying to tell his crew, each and every single one of them, giving them different life lessons and everything within this gangster world. But one to check out if you haven't seen it. It's a fun, easy show to watch.
No, I'll
Um,
check it out.
especially if you like those gangster stuff. The next one I watched The Apprentice. Have you seen that? It's about Donald Trump.
No,
Um,
that's with Sebastian Stan, yeah?
Sebastian, he's awesome. I have to say, he's a wicked actor, bro. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's
100%.
he's good for
100%.
what we know him in the MCU as Winter Soldier and everything. But bro, seeing him play Donald Trump, and look, Donald Trump's someone that's all over freaking TV. I've seen him on the podcast and all that sort of stuff, the recent stuff. And I have to say, man, Sebastian Stan really pulled off some of his characteristics, especially like, oh, Trump, the way he uses his hands, like he's a great guy, and the way he kind of sucks in his cheeks and all that sort
Yeah,
of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like Sebastian Stan done a great job about that. But it was like I don't know how accurate this was because I don't, Trump's the type of dude to like if it wasn't accurate or they made him look bad, he would tweet about it and say, fuck you, like take it down, or fuck you guys, that's fake news. You know how Trump does it
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
But it was a story. It's like I said, that's why I don't know how accurate it was, everything. But it was based on his real estate business from the 1970s to the 80s, and
Okay.
how he grew in New York, and the people he kind of came across, the lawyers he worked with, and just the start of his empire. Like building up the Trump Towers and wanting New York to be that place. Because New York was a dump, bro. And when I say a dump, it was like uh, not Town Square, what's that? Times Square had like, I don't know, around that time, maybe it might be around the 70s, maybe just before that was like brothels and gangsters and crackheads and shit. This is Times Square, the main thing. So Trump had this vision that he wanted to kind of bring New York back to, the best city in the world. That's what he wanted it to be. And that was one of
Yeah.
his visions and stuff like that. So it touched on his empire, it did touch on tax breaks and stuff like that he got
Yeah.
to build his empire and stuff like that. It built on me and his wife Ivana Trump and whatnot. And again, I don't know how accurate all these stories are. Certain lawyers that he worked with that just knew the system and he was just big in the game. It does talk about the AIDS. When I say talk about it, it brings up the AIDS epidemic. Is that the right word? No, that's not the right word. But the AIDS thing that went around, his lawyers and stuff like that, they were gay and they caught AIDS and all that sort of stuff as well. So that's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
involved as well. But like, I wouldn't say I wanted to know about Trump, but if you wanted to, this guy's he's the president, right? He likes the limelight. There's something about him that you just want to see him in a movie. You know what I mean? He's like a TV star at the end of the day. So just to kind of see his upbringing and how he kind of got to the position that he did and the confidence that grew as he was finding his way, as he was building his empire, making friends and whatever, his confidence grew. Because at first he seemed a bit timid. Again, I don't know how accurate his character was, but seemed a bit timid and slow, but not slow, but like not really pushing his weight until he got there. Then he started pushing his weight and all that sort of stuff. And then ultimately form into the dude we know today. A bit different now, but great. Sebastian Stan's awesome in it, though. I have to say, I really like him as an actor. He also done Tommy Lee when he done that show with Seth Rogen and the Pamela Anderson and Lee sex tape thing. He was also Tommy Lee there and done a great job there. So that's one I watched. I enjoyed it, man. I did enjoy it about the Trump empire. Moving on, I watched this show, bro, called 11/22/63 with what's his name? James Franco. Have you heard about it? Have you heard about this?
No.
It's a time traveling show, bro. So check this out, man. I randomly came across a YouTube short about this show. It was just a little scene, basically. And James Franco's in the 60s. And in the scene that I saw, basically, they're still like in the 60s. This was before the civil rights and everything. This is about JFK, the assassination of JFK. So this black woman that he was working with, she was refused to get petrol from a petrol station. And James Franco, in this little scene I watched, was like, fuck you, and got the petrol for the lady.
Oh, yes, I've seen this clip. Yes.
Yes, it's from this show. So I was like, what is this? I don't know what it is. It's from this show, bro, called, like I said, it's oh shit, hold on. I nearly minimized the thing. I forget the dates or whatnot. It's 11/22/63. This is based around JFK. So this is when he got assassinated, basically, right? James Franco, the creators, Bridget Carpenter, and whatnot. So basically, bro. And the producers, bro. I should say hold on. It's Steven Spielberg's involved, and come on, G, why have you gone blank? He done. I have to pull this up, bro. Sorry. I have to pull. I should have had this prepared. James Franco, come on, man, give it to me. Stephen King, based on a novel. Sorry, okay, based on a novel by Stephen King. I said, what? Who did I say earlier? Steven Spielberg, but I don't think he's involved. It was Stephen King, and. Why is his name gone blank, bro? He directed some Star Wars movies, bro. Come on, man, you know his name.
What, George Lucas?
No. After the new ones, he directed some of the newer ones.
Dave Filoni?
No.
John Favreau?
No. Come on, man. Gee, why have you gone blank? I've gone so blank now. I had it written down. Okay, I wrote it down on my phone. I have to give shout out because I couldn't. I was like, oh, these guys are involved, and I've gone super blank right now with names. And I didn't write it down. Dude, freaking hell, man. All right. Listen,
some Star Wars after.
I think
J.J. Abrams.
There you go. Freaking hell. J.J. Abrams is involved as well. I think he's a producer and everything like that. There you go. Anyway, bro, so it's basically they're in like 2015, I think, or 2016 when the show is based on and came out. And he's a teacher, nice guy, English teacher or whatnot. He goes to a cafe, and in this cafe, the owner, just randomly, there's a room, a closet that takes him back in time, specifically to this day, right? They don't explain the time travel, doesn't matter. The owner of the cafe is a friend of his or whatnot. He's been going back in time, and he realized basically that he thinks that it's specifically that time so they can stop JFK's assassination. I'm spoiling it. Hopefully, if you guys want to watch it, do watch it. JFK's assassination. The rules with this is once you go in on a specific date, and it's 2 or 3 years until JFK is being assassinated. So all the investigation about what's his name, Osborne. The guy who probably Oswald. Yeah. I'm forgetting names and everything now. Anyway, doing the investigation on him. Is it really him? The second shooter, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Ultimately leading to stopping the assassination, basically. Lee Harvey Oswald or whatever.
Lee Harvey Oswald, yeah, that's right.
So anyway, he goes back in time, and the rule is if you come back out, when you go back in, it's the same. You go back to the exact same day. So you have to make a decision. Like you have to stay in there for 2 years until that time. So he goes in there, does the investigation. He gets moist and all this sort of stuff. It's funny, but it's actually really good. It's very captivating, man, in the sense that he's in this time zone, in this time frame. He's trying to adapt to that, dress the way, understand the culture, the segregation that's going on, all that sort of stuff. The investigation that he's putting in, the CIA involved, all that sort of stuff, ultimately leading to that. And I'm spoiling it when he does stop the assassination and he comes back to his time. And basically the time also, what happens is the timeline punishes you for things that you tried to do. So you can't just be like, I'm going to save this dude, I'm going to save that dude, JFK, all that sort of stuff without consequences. And it's not just consequences when you come back into your real world. In that world, in that timeline, the timeline will punish you or make things. So there's things that happen. So he can't go in and just be the savior on certain things, right? There is an element of Back to the Future, like the almanac. They know to make money, it's gambles basically based on sports and things and whatnot. But yeah, like it's interesting because there are things that he wants to do and he does do and changes timelines, but it leads to bad things that happen and people dying and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, man, you just fucked up bare people's lives by doing this. Like, why don't you just stick to the objective, right? Stop getting bare people involved. Just stick to the objective. Stop the JFK assassination. Instead, he went on a whole other thing, got moist, made friends, got other people involved. They end up dying. Spoiler alert, sorry. But then when he does, I just spoiled it, man. Shit. When he does stop the assassination, it doesn't work out how he thought it would be. Everyone's like, JFK will be the savior, and da. It doesn't work out that way. So it's interesting. I wish I didn't spoil it. I got into it and I ended up spoiling it because I think it's worth watching.
It's all right. It's cool. When I get the chance, definitely something to watch. But the repercussions of traveling back in time and trying to fix things. Listen, it doesn't work out. That's why that quantum leap is like kind of a pure example. Like they didn't. If he leaped into somebody that was like a big change, which he did do in those ones. You know, he leaped into JFK. He was Martin Luther. I think he was Martin Luther King at one point. A couple of characters. He played some major big characters, which he couldn't change in time. That's why they made it possible to change the lives of people that are smaller ripples in the time, that it doesn't cause a paradox later on in the future. That's but that's time travel. We don't know the repercussions of time travel. We don't know what would happen if something like that would happen. What, multiple dimensions and all of that. Like, I've been down the black hole of this madness, bro. There's so much, but there's consequence. There's always going to be something bad that's always going to happen. You're going to be punished for something, right? You're meddling with time.
Exactly. Yes. And we believe, as religious people, as Islam, we believe Allah's already written down everything. So when I do think about that, if I was to go back in time, what would I do or whatever? Or when I think about my life now, everything had to happen the way it did for my life to be exactly in this spot right now, me speaking to you during this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, if something changed, God knows where I'll be. So yeah, but it's a great show. I'm sorry that I spoiled it. I think I got into it too much.
All right.
It is worth watching it. Like I say, Stephen King, J.J. Abrams, this was before, I think, James Franco, had his little scandal and whatnot. He's good. I like him, though. I like him. But worth watching. Worth watching if you have time and want to invest yourself in it. It's more, even though I spoiled it, it's still, there's so much more that gets involved in it, which is worth watching. I watched another movie called Saturday Night, and this was about that show that comes on Saturday Night Live. And the first kind of broadcast of it, and just the chaotic of the background of getting the show on live. So it's based around at 11:30 p.m. on October 11th, 1975. Ferocious type of young comedians and writers changed television forever. So find out what happened behind the scenes, 90 minutes leading towards the first broadcast of Saturday Night Live, 1975. So when they say it changed the television forever, it was like being like outland, like jokes that were a bit more extreme than what they normally had on TV, right? Especially in 1975. And just kind of changing the dynamics of TV and what for people to expect to watch on TV and stuff like that. And this is based around these young comedians that a lot of them were familiar with. We're talking about Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Garrett Morris. There's so many, what's his name? Billy Crystal. So many people in this, like, they didn't play the parts in this. They were actors playing young versions and whatnot. But the producers, the actors, the beef that they go through, the jokes. You had I think the screenwriters who were going over the jokes and you can't say this, you can't say that, and they're like, you know what, fuck you. Just all that sort of shit going on. Chevy Chase was a bit of a the way they portrayed it. Chevy Chase was a bit of a cocky dick in this, but it was actually entertaining to see. I've never watched Saturday Night Live. I don't watch that stuff.
Yeah.
It's an American thing. But some of these actors obviously we're familiar with. And like I said, this did change the dynamics of TV, especially, I guess, when content changes, we're in an age where you watch TV shows and now they can have produce and violence and head chopping off easy on TV. That's a revolutionary thing that maybe, I don't know, Sopranos or something might have kind of eased in there. Now, this show, this Saturday night, I think that revolutionized like a point of where you could tell a certain amount of jokes, be it racist jokes or whatever jokes and stuff like that, that some audience might be uncomfortable with, especially at that time, right? To a point now, that's all normal. I think we're going into a bit of a woke stage where people get offended by shit, but we're in a stage now where you can put anything on TV now, right? So this is one of those sort of things where that revolutionized sort of TV and everything. So worth a watch if you want to watch the chaoticness, man. It's crazy, the behind the scenes stuff.
I'll have to check that out. I'll check that out.
All leading up to the last moment. The other thing I watched a Stallone movie called Armor, which came out. Sylvester Stallone, John Wiggins, Dash Himok. People I'm not too familiar with.
Yeah.
Directed by Justin Roth. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's one of those heist movies where Stallone's got a gang and whatnot, but Stallone's always playing that guy with some kind of morals. He never plays a full-on villain. He's a villain in this movie. He never plays a full-on villain. He's always got principles and morals. But it's it's an easy watch. I would say it's like a background movie we could put on, heist movie going on. It was short and sweet, hour and a half. When there's a movie like that, that's easy. There was a little bit of family dynamics between James Patrick's character, who was the driver of the truck with the money or gold or whatever. There was some background stuff of what they were delivering with his son, and his stuff, family dynamics there and whatnot. But interesting background sort of movie that you can watch. It's all right, not too bad. What else did I watch? I watched that movie called Weekend in Taipei. So this is directed by George Hung. It's got Luke Evans in it, Sung Kang, and Wyatt Yang. Luke Evans I'm familiar with. Sung Kang, he's been in the Fast and Furious movies and whatnot. But I watched this, I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, this seems interesting. But this was actually like it felt like a B-class movie, actually. B-level. Yeah. I mean, when I say B-level movie, I mean, the action and stuff was pretty cool, actually. The action and the choreography, and I was like, oh, this ain't too bad. You know what I mean? You've got some new age sort of like John Wick style, whatever, a little bit. But the acting and the dialogue was just so cheesy, man. I was like, oh, this is bad. It just and listen, man, the storytelling and everything. I get it. You're trying to give background story on something. Fucking hell, but they went in on some background stories, and I was like, are you still on this part? I don't give a shit, man. Get back to the gangsters and why they're on the run and all this sort of shit. They spent a big portion of the movie talking about the background story between Luke Evans' character and the lady. And I was like, fuck sakes, man, I don't want to know anymore about these lot. Okay, they got together once in the past. Move on. So anyway, it was, I had it on that. I don't know why and it's one of those movies where I saw the trailer and then I got food. So I was like, oh, I just want to put something on while I eat my food, I don't want to, whatever. So I put it on and for some reason, something told me to just finish it off. Because again, the only benefit is it was a short and sweet movie, hour and a half.
Yeah.
Nothing too much. And when I saw some of the action, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. This will keep me entertained for an hour and a half. But when they went into the storytelling and too much background, I was like, oh my God, you're killing me here, man. Just get on to the gangster stuff, the being on the run, the killing, move on to the action.
Exactly.
So anyway, that was that movie. Look, I didn't want to shit on it. Hopefully I didn't. But, I was interested from the trailers. That's why I put it on. And then when it came on, I was like, nah, you guys, it felt like a B class.
Horrible. Horrible.
Well, I've been watching a lot. I did end up watching a lot of things. I watched Elevation, sorry, with
Oh yeah, with Anthony Mackie.
Anthony
Yeah.
Mackie,
What
yeah.
did you think?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, I think I saw your review and I agree. Like it's something that we've seen before.
Yeah.
An alien invasion and human race is almost going extinct and they're all living in little, groups together and whatnot. We end up finding out it was like an alien AI technology. They were like robots or something, right? They were
Yeah,
like
yeah.
machines and everything. And you have that one scientist or that one person who lost their family and they're depressed and they hate the world and they're very negative, but they might have a solution. She ends up finding a solution, all that sort of stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. And there was this random thing that the robots couldn't go up 8,000 feet and whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I wouldn't say it's nothing new in it, but there's, it's just, I guess, a different
I think he
perspective.
plays the character quite well. Like his acting is really good in it, and like he's trying to save his son, so you could
Exactly.
see that part of it. But just like some of it is just familiar, bro. And it was like it didn't have me engaged. It threw me off. I popped my phone on. Like if you could keep my phone down for an hour and a half or like 2 hours, then you've done a great job. But
Yeah.
when it comes to a point where you're like, even like I like the way the aliens looked.
Yeah, they were cool.
And
Yeah.
they didn't really explain the boundary parts, like why they couldn't cross over certain.
The woman literally said, "I don't know why." Like that was one of the when at the end when I was that was part I was paying attention to when they were asked. He asked her about it, and she just goes, "I don't know why." So that was it. There was no explanation unless I
Okay, so
missed it.
that makes I all right. Yeah, I probably missed it as well because it just didn't. Anyway,
It's nothing new, but you know what? It's a different, a little bit of it's another perspective of an alien invasion and stuff like that.
mm,
Listen, I'm no story, right? I don't know shit, right? What I would have probably found more entertaining is maybe halfway through the movie they found a solution, which was that bullet with chemicals or whatever on it, and then we just started seeing them fucking up the aliens. I'm like, yeah, give me some action at the end, seeing them messing them up and whatnot. Because you get a slight scene of at the end where you just see, they raise up the pirate flag and they're like, we got a solution, let's go out and get them. But that's the end credit scene, you know what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah.
There was like an end credit scene they put in there where it looks like more aliens were coming. I was like, all right, well, I'm not that
I
interested.
didn't even see that, bro.
Did you see that? I saw it. I left it on, and I was like, okay, cool. You haven't got me that much for me to like. Oh my God, I can't wait for part two. Like, I'm not that interested. But hey, it's all right. Um, I watched a nice movie called The Nutcracker with Ben Stiller, who's a legend. I really like Ben
Yeah, yeah,
Stiller.
yeah.
I really
What was
do.
that like?
It's nice, man. It's a nice family movie, man. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like he's a basically, man, it's kind of deep actually. He's an uncle. He's a basic uncle in the beginning. His sister's kids, four kids, they're young as well. I think the oldest one might have been like just like 13 or 12 or something like that, and younger. The parents, they were killed. And the parents seemed like there was some kind of like hippie type things, but they were into dance. Like the mother was into like ballet and she had like a ballet studio. But the uncle, Ben Stiller, was not even in their life, right?
Mm.
He kind of just knew the older two. He's never met the younger two. And we're talking about, like I said, the oldest one's like 13 or 12. The rest of them are like 6, 7, 1. They live in like a horrible condition. I'm talking about freaking a mess, pigs and stuff running around, chickens, goats and shit in the house. Soon as Ben Stiller steps out the car, he steps on shit. It's not comedy. It's not comedy, but
Ah,
it's got a light sense of Ben Stiller type of light vibe to it and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, yeah.
Um, he's this big shot real estate dude from Chicago and whatnot. So he's kind of like immediately coming trying to find a foster family for the kids, right? I don't
Mm.
know why I done quotation marks, but foster family for the kids. So that's his intention. I'm like, oh, you're a basic uncle, man. You're not even there to kind of look after them. You're kind of like, he's got this presentation coming up for a big deal. So he's more concentrated on that than he is on the kids. But the loving part or the warm part of the story is like he gets to know the kids, right? He builds a trust with them. They build a trust with him. There's a little bit of love that's being built for them and whatnot. So
Yeah.
throughout this process where one is trying to look after these kids, but his real intention is trying to find them a home, a foster home or whatnot. As he goes through that, you start seeing a bit of him change a little bit. Like one of the first things he was like, at first he didn't give a shit, like just get them home. Then he was kind of like, no, we shouldn't separate them and stuff like that. Like make sure they all can go together. So he was trying to find a rich family to take them all. Literally some scenes you're like, you're a bastard, man, because you're literally trying to sell them to like some
Yeah.
rich donor, like rich guy or whatnot. By the end of the movie, he puts together a nice. He finds out stuff that he can relate to them with, or they can relate to, like dance, because these are like kids out of when I say out of control, they're young kids. They don't know
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
going
yeah,
on,
yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
And the dance, which kind of related them to their mother, which was like ballet and whatnot. He saw that they were actually good at it and whatnot. And he put this nice show together and everything. And it was one of the kids had a crazy script about an old play. I can't remember what it was about, but he added these kid elements to it, put samurai in there and all that sort of shit. So he's like, you know what? Let's put a play together about your story of this old story that you've kind of copied and made it into your own. Um, but at the end, ultimately, it leads to the beautiful side of it. It leads to him, falling in love with them. They fall in love with him, and he kind of does end up like adopting them or just being with them, which was nice. Like it's a
Yeah.
nice, happy movie. Like it does finish off with that happy ending where you're like, that's warm, that's nice. Like you were a
Yeah,
bastard.
yeah, yeah.
I'm an uncle. I would never do that.
Yeah.
Like God forbid. Man,
Yeah.
I would take all the kids, Alawa,
Yeah.
Nia, Idris, Isla, taking you guys. This guy's a
Yeah.
bastard, man. Like, because I related to him because I'm an uncle as well. But I'm like, you're a bastard. I would never do that as an uncle.
Get rid of them.
There's a lot of movies where you guys can relate because you're parents. I'm not a parent yet, inshallah, I
Yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah,
This was the first one where like, I'm an uncle, I can relate to you, but you're a
yeah.
bastard, man. I would never do what you do. So the warm love at the end, I was like, that's what I want to see as my
That's
uncle.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So and Ben
Exactly. Yeah.
Stiller, he's got nice hair, first of all. I like his hairstyle. He's a charming dude, man, and he's funny. He's got,
Yeah.
we've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
him in
yeah.
so many comedy movies, but he's easy to watch acting and doing his
Very,
thing.
bro. I would say he's like Adam Sandler. He can do
Yeah,
comedy really
yes,
well, and he can do the real stuff really well as well. That one about Walter Mitty. Is it Walter Mitty?
yes. The
Where he goes
story,
to
the life of Walter
explore.
Mitty or something like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Like I love that movie because it's about getting out there, get out your comfort zone, and understanding things and life a little bit more, and how you pursue things, how you have conversations with people. Because he was a bit distant from everything, and it showed him grow as a character, what you can become. So I think he's great at films like that. And then I mean, Tropic Thunder is going to be his all-time favorite movie,
I don't
probably.
care. I don't
He's the
fuck all you
best.
woke people. That's one of the best movies, best comedy movies of all time.
Yeah,
Holy
exactly.
shit.
So all good, all good, all good.
Well, that was fun. Something I watch as well. There's a lot, but we're almost done through this, man, and then we'll
Mm.
finish off with the news and stuff like that. The start of James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC universe with Creature
Yes.
Commandos. Did you get a chance to watch the first two episodes? I saw them. It's got Frank Grillo
Not,
in it. I mean,
not yet, not yet.
he's playing Rick Flag. It's got Sean Gunn playing GI Robot. David Harbour's playing Frankenstein. Zoe Chow is playing Nina. The character monsters I'm not familiar with. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Bride of Frankenstein is played by Adriana Verma. Clayface is he hasn't showed up yet actually, but Alan Turdock, that was some big news and whatnot. It's the start of the DC universe that you see the beginning logo, which is it's weird to talk about that. Well, no, it's not, but it's going to be epic. It's old Superman, original Superman breaking out of chains. It's actually a really cool logo, and I think James Gunn confirmed that that's going to be the beginning of the whole universe. When
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
Marvel
That's
have
right.
this,
Yeah, DC
with
Studios. That's the DC Studios one. Yeah.
it's really cool.
Uh,
I think I think there's something symbolic there. It's like we're breaking the chains of maybe what. Maybe it's James Gunn saying that I'm breaking the chains of what we've had before, and this isn't ours, mine, ours, Saffron's project, sort of thing. We're
yeah.
not going to be
Listen,
stuck
like
to the studios.
I mean, when he released that at Comic Con, I can't remember if it was early this summer, and it's the homage, the original homage, because look, they've gone back to their old logo as well.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
the old logo. It's not nothing new. So he's respecting what came and what he's moving forward with. But Superman is his first ever big project, Superman DC Comics. But Creature Commandos, bro, my guy loves misfits, bro. He's a misfit himself.
Yeah,
He loves characters that don't make sense, but he likes people to fall in love with those characters as well. So he's really good at that.
he's
He's
very
always
good at
has
it.
been. listen, bro, he's a fan. He's a fan. Why wouldn't I want a fan working on this project, bro? You know, here's a guy who took a tree, a raccoon, and and made us fall in love with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same with the Suicide Squad, because this is
Yeah,
related. So Suicide Squad is DC canon, DC Studios canon, because Rick Flag's character in this talks about his son who was in Suicide Squad, who gets killed on one though. So they talk about
yes,
that. They talk the Weasel in this cartoon is the Weasel from that Suicide Squad, because they
yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
he's the only survivor from that project and whatnot. Um, but even as an animation, yeah, he's found a way. 20 minutes episodes. He's found a way for me to be like, one, I'm already interested, but two, like, yes, these characters. I'm invested in these Frankenstein characters. One fish head character, I don't know her name.
I think the David Harbour plays the Frankenstein, right?
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So like James does some really good writing, bro, and like because he speaks to the creators who made these characters, it was like, look, I'm gonna soft launch this new DC Studios, but I want to introduce characters that we've had the mainstream characters, and they haven't been respected well. So I think what he's gonna do is earn some respect for these characters, which we should have done for Zack Snyder's one, and we do because I still love all of that stuff. But I think James wants us to have a different respect for these characters. These are going to be different stories as well. So
He's also done a
let's
great
see.
job where you've got, again, bunch of characters I'm not familiar with. I mean, yes, I know Frankenstein and all that sort of stuff, but the GI robot, I don't know nothing about them. And you've introducing them not in a movie, a live action, in an animation. Now, if these guys show up in a movie, it will make all the sense because it's canon to everything,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, this works. And again, with animation, there's something about the action, the comedy, the violence, because it's got F-bombs, it's got violence, it's got
Yeah, yeah.
Lucy and all that sort of stuff in it. So it's already setting a tone of what the DC universe could look like
Mm.
with all that sort of stuff. So bro, very enjoyable. Like I said, 20-minute little digestible episode, 2 episodes, and I'm already invested in it. I wasn't sitting there hoping Batman or Superman would show up. Like that's how good it was. Like
Yeah.
I don't have that expectations. I'm ready to go in and be immersed in this new DC universe. And like so far, like it's got great ratings and everything. So far, people are giving it good ratings and everything, which is a good thing because people were hating on James Gunn a lot and the DC is gonna fail and Snyderverse and whatnot. Fucking give it a chance, and he's great at it, man. And Frank Grillo does a great job. I feel like I said, if they do a live action or get these characters involved in the universe in the live action movie somewhere, you could
They
put
are.
Frank Grillo in there. It's perfect. Like he looks like
Yeah,
he's
he is 100%. He's
perfect.
in Superman, bro.
Oh, there you go.
He's in
So
Superman. He's
I
in Superman.
love I love what they're doing here then that. I love the fact that they're mixing the animation, live
Exactly.
action, and just pulling it all into one universe. Because with that, with the great thing about these characters or any character, if you want to build up a new character, just make a little animation. And without, like,
Perfect.
you know what I mean? You don't have to make a whole
Yeah.
movie and whatnot. So it's great. It's great. Definitely, if you haven't seen it, watch it, man. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of it. Quickly finishing off, bro. I did get a chance to play some video games. That's one thing I did do. I want to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy game. Now, I've had this game, bro, since I bought my PS5 a couple of years
Mm.
ago. Never played it. It's actually really awesome, bro. Bro.
Yeah.
This is the first time a video game. The gameplay is okay. I'm not gonna say the gameplay is amazing. It's kind of okay. The villains that you fight are very like standard. These rubbish, these monsters and whatnot, made
Yeah.
out of blob and whatnot. They're kind of basic. Well, the dialogue on this game was awesome. That's typical from what we know from Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax cracking us up and whatnot, Rocket making funny comments, all that stuff. Throughout the whole game, the dialogue was absolutely awesome. And then the individual stories that they had on each character, bro. Drax's story actually almost made me bust a tear, bro. It's a video game
Mm.
about like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Almost made me bust a tear. They introduced some they mentioned like you saw Thanos in it, Adam Warlock was in it, they had Soul Stone. There were some things where they made jokes about Hulk and the Avengers, the one that Hulk fights, Windaloo or something like that. That
Yeah,
monster
yeah.
was in it. actually a really fun game. Fun game, like I said, in regards to the dialogue and the story and everything, in each of individual stories. Gameplay is kind of all right, but it's an easy gameplay to kind of get through and win. And there's
Okay.
some team ups and everything. So I wanted to give that a shout out. The other thing I bought and I just started playing was Dragon Ball Z Sparkling Zero. It's
Yes, I
actually a
saw some of the
fun,
clips.
yeah, it's actually a fun Dragon Ball Z beat 'em up game. I was speaking to Yusuf and he was saying that they've made like 4 or 5 of these from back in the days. And he
Oh,
called something else, but Sparkling Zero was always the Japanese name, so they've just taken it back to the Japanese roots. The game's fun, it's awesome, it's hard. I tell you why it's
mm.
hard, right? A normal beat 'em up game, Tekken, Street Fighter, whatever. You want to learn the moves, you want to win, you want to do a couple of Hadoukens, and you're good to go, right? And you just
Yeah,
got
yeah.
to because Dragon Ball Z, we grew up with that, right? They've already set the expectation of what kind of battle you want. And you want a Dragon Ball Z battle. You want the teleportation, the fast pace, the
Mm.
fireballs, and trying to, get power up. You want to turn into a Super Saiyan, you want to fly, all of that sort of stuff, right? But you're trying to do it all in a battle where you don't have no time to think and you get smashed and whatnot. You want to teleport up and smash them to the rocks and all this sort of stuff. So these games have already set the expectation of the type of battle that you want and you're trying to play. So it
Mm.
makes it so hard and you have to train a lot to kind of put those combinations together to get the battle that you want. You want like all the countering and stuff. So it's really awesome, like that you can play tag team people up, you can power up, you can turn into a Super Saiyan and all that sort of stuff. But you got to practice. I mean, I'm sure there are people that are amazing out there. But like I said, for me, I want that Dragon Ball Z battle. And without practice, you ain't gonna get that, man. Because I'm not just gonna press
Yeah.
fireball and just win the fight. I don't want to just win the fight with this game. I want to have my Dragon Ball Z experience. So that's what makes this game amazing and fun to play. But you have to practice a lot to get there, man. So wanted to give that
Mm.
game a shout out. I'm looking forward to playing that more.
Cool.
A lot of practice needs to be done. All right, before we get into the news, bro, just real quick, you watched Gremlins with the kids, man. I wanted to get your thoughts on watching that movie again and how is it with the kids, man? How did they absorb this classic 1984 classic?
No, they listen. What I haven't seen it in ages, bro. So it was funny that I just popped it on. Uh, originally I thought they would be scared of it, and I think there are some elements of it that were what it is scary. But then they laughed, bro. Some of the gremlins are jokes, bro. Like they're nothing but troubles. I was like, you guys are gremlins. That's what you guys do. They enjoyed it. Laura really enjoyed it. I mean, Nia, she's fresh, so she's just seeing characters on the screen. But Alara, she understands things now, so she was into it, bro. She was like really into it. She was enjoying it, laughing at it. She loves Gizmo, so I said, you know what? During the Christmas sales, I'll grab her a little Gizmo toy. Uh, but it was fun. They understood like it's violent though, bro.
Is it?
There are some violent moments. I've completely forgot about the violent moments, and like they spit on Gizmo and they vomit on Gizmo, and I'm like, bullies, man, bunch of bullies, man.
Oh, dear.
The main gremlin, he's like, what? Just spitting on Gizmo. I was like, what the hell? I don't remember that, bro. Like, that's some proper bullying games, man. One guy was vomiting on somebody else, and I was like, this is crazy, bro. It's still a good fun watch, bro. Like, animatronics, the cinematography, everything looks fun, Interesting fact, guys, if you didn't know, Back to the Future, sorry, Gremlins was shot on the same set as Back to the Future.
Oh,
So
that's
when you
cool.
see Hill Valley, that's actually Kingston. They called it Kingston uh, in Gremlins. And you notice it, when he walks out the cinema, that's where the DeLorean broke into, and like
Oh, that's
you're
awesome.
walking around the square, that's Hill Valley. So they just reused that set. It was really cool, really cool. It's a good watch. Alara had fun with it. Alara had
That's
fun with
that's awesome. I'm glad they enjoyed that, man.
it.
Cool, man. Was there anything before we go into the news? Was there anything else that you watched that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think that was it for me. That was it for me.
All right, well, let's get into the news. I know we got like 20 minutes left or whatnot. We could just get through some news because there's been a couple things, updates since we last spoke. So,
Yep.
Marvel news, Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige confirms we'll see more X-Men introduced in the MCU in the next few movies. So this is exciting, man. We obviously had Deadpool and Wolverine, but you can't forget we did get Beast at the end of the Marvels movie, which was
Mm-hmm.
a perfect Beast, based on the cartoons and whatnot. But I am looking forward to seeing more X-Men. With the What If, we're gonna actually have some mutants there. We see Storm and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. It'll be interesting to see where they give us more X-Men, in which movies do they decide to put them in. But X-Men making a big comeback. In live action, Gambit and whatnot. Looking forward to seeing more. Then we got a few movies next year. I mean, I would love to see if they show up in any of the movies from next year. You know, Captain America, the Thunderbolts. What else? The other one? Whatever. There's a
Thunderbolts
lot.
and Captain America is the ones that I know of. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and that'd be awesome. Even with Daredevil, I would love if you put Spider-Man in there. He was in Daredevil was in Spider-Man. Imagine he shows up in MCU. I know he's not an X-Men, but still, the crossovers are going to be amazing now. So looking forward to
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
more
definitely,
X-Men.
definitely.
Marvel reveals a Predator versus Spider-Man coming in
Mm-hmm.
2025, which is a comic book, which is awesome. I love the crossovers that they're doing ever since they bought Fox and whatnot. They've had the aliens crossing over with like Wolverine and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They've
Predator's a
been good.
good one. I would have thought, I don't know if they've done a Predator versus Wolverine one, but two hunters hunting each other, like Predator versus Wolverine, that would have been pretty cool in some
I
like
think they
forest or
have, bro.
whatnot. They might have done it, but oh, I think they have actually. Hold on, I'm just reading it
Yeah, I
here.
think they have. I
Also
think
had
they
these
have.
formidable space figures clash with Marvel Hero. They have had that one. So in that
They
case,
have.
I need to go find that one because that would be pretty awesome. I think they're looking to
Yeah.
do a Predator versus Black Panther. So him come maybe Predator somehow ending up in Wakanda. But
Hmm.
Predator versus Spider-Man is almost like Predator 2, where the Predator shows up in the city, right?
In
And
New
this is
York. Yeah, yeah.
Spider-Man city, you know what I mean? So that'll be pretty cool. I mean, Spider-Man obviously has his senses and whatnot. Predator has his thermal vision. It'll be good. Predator's quite brutal, so hopefully, you know, Spider-Man's not as brutal as that, but like hopefully in the comics they'll I don't know, show us a great abilities of what they can put together with these two. All right.
100%.
Kraven the Hunter. Now they released the first, Sony has released the first 8 minutes on YouTube. Now this feels like a bit of a desperation move to me, in my opinion, just because of the lack of the good content that we've been getting from the Sony Spider-Man universe. It's not been great. The movies, Spider-Web, Madam Web, or whatever. Venom's been okay. I mean, they made money at the end of that. I think like they didn't lose out on money with Venom, but it was okay. Madam Web was loose, and all the other ones have been, you know, not great, right? The Morbius or whatnot. So I think this was a bit of a desperation move, kind of like, please watch the movie, please come. I think the director's been actually made a comment, like, give it a chance, guys. So they fear that it's not going to do great just because of recent stuff.
There's no screenings for it. It comes out what next week?
Oh, really? No
Actually, it comes
screening?
out this. It's coming out Friday, right?
Ah, so they don't want early people watching it and giving it shit views and whatnot.
There
So
you go.
to
There's no screenings for it. That comes out Friday, bro. That usually screenings would happen uh either last week Thursday or latest this week Thursday, but it comes out Friday, bro, and nothing. Unless I've got some of my people, some of the people that I know in the industry that are going to it, but been no invite or nothing. You know what I mean? We've got the premiere for Sonic tomorrow. We've got the premiere for Mufasa tomorrow on Wednesday. Like, there's
I
no
think
premiere or
this.
nothing. They've been pushing the market in like at Comic Cons and stuff, but
I mean, they just sponsored the UFC, that event that just happened. UFC 310 was sponsored by Craven. I mean, look, I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I do.
yeah,
And, you know, they're going to introduce Rhino. The problem with these movies, this Spider-Man universe, you don't even have Spider-Man in there, and there's no connection to Spider-Man. Like, you even tried to get Vulture involved, and you thought that would be good. Like, you didn't even do shit with him. There was all these rumors about Sinister Six. It's all
mm,
over the place, man, and there is no talk of Spider-Man or anything. So at the end of the day, it's like, why? I don't know, man. You have all this content and IPs, like, you know, introduce Spider-Man in it at least somewhere. Look, I don't know if I'm gonna go cinema for this one, bro. But I might do. I might do. Maybe on the weekend I might go catch it. Let's see. I'll definitely watch it regardless. But I do
mm.
feel like that was a bit of a desperation move. But you never know, it could be good. I mean, them saying it's R-rated doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be amazing, but you never know, it could be good.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, bro.
All right. All right. Some other MCU news. Popular Kang actor choice confirms talks with Marvel Studios, and that brother's name is, why is it not here? His name is, Colman Domingo. So
Yeah,
obviously we saw what happened with Jonathan Majors, and I think there's some news about him in a bit. What the news basically is apparently his I think his wife or something,
mm.
or the person who made the accusations about the abuse dropped the case apparently. Anyway,
Yeah,
when
yeah, I
he
heard
got
about that as well.
dropped, the popular actor that everyone was pushing, fans were pushing, Coleman Domingo, people saying that he should be the next Kang, he should just take over and whatnot. He's in talks with MCU. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be Kang. I don't know
No.
where they're going to push the Kang universe. Apparently, Jonathan Majors did do some extra scenes that was supposed to show up in Agatha all along. But I don't know if they're going to push Kang. Like, it seems like, they're moving on with Doctor Doom. Maybe they could get Kang
Yeah.
involved in the future with Coleman, but maybe it could be something completely different. It doesn't have to be Kang. Maybe they could just move away from Kang. 10 years from now, you could bring him back because why not? You know what I mean? Like, I think the MCU can do that now.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, who could he be, man? I wonder who could he be? Who would you put him as if you was to? He could be like Bishop or something. Maybe they're thinking about Bishop or
Nah, bro, they could be doing something different. He could be the next Professor X, bro, for all I know.
well, yeah, it could be anyone. But
You
anyway,
know
I
what I mean?
mean,
It could be. Yeah, we could
yeah.
only kind of work out on who could be, but uh, he could be the next Professor X. He could be Magneto. You don't know. We don't know now. We're in a time like you've seen what's happening with the Harry Potter situation. They're trying to change Snape to a dark skinned brother, and which is fine. Actors can play roles. I think actors are picked because they can act. Uh, but it's turned into a shit show, bro.
I
You're
haven't
getting
even heard
racist
about
people
that.
jumping up and
Yeah.
all of these other people popping up. It's like, nah, man, it's supposed to be like a pasty white guy. It's like, no, if the guy can act the part, then they can put the pasty white paint on him if they have to. But
Oh
other than
shit,
that,
that won't go down. That'll go down even worse, bro.
bro, they do a Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean?
That'll be
Uh,
jokes.
it's interesting, man. We
Well,
in a time now where it's like, oh man, people don't. I don't know. Like, if you respect movies and the art and the rest of it, then you could just take it as that. But people want to take it deeper, man. You got keyboard warriors coming out like from the woodworks, man, because they're upset
yeah.
because uh anyway, it's
Well,
a it's
look,
a
I would
whole
say, well, look, with the whole DEI thing, bro, I'm all about it and whatnot. But like I said, if there's certain characters, especially with IP that we grew up with, that you can't change if they got a historical background towards their race or whatnot, right? Like,
yeah.
like Batman, for example, right? He grew up on wealth, on white wealth and
Mm,
whatnot. There's other characters like that. Magneto, he was a Holocaust survivor, right? So
yeah.
he's got to be a certain race. But Professor X, yeah, he could be a professor. Could be doesn't have to be a white dude. He could be
Yeah.
someone who's a teacher. A teacher could be anyone, right? Basically a leader or
Exactly.
whatnot. Cyclops, he hasn't. Like, I'm just talking about bringing up X-Men for example, not necessarily have to be that, but there's certain characters that are they have a cultural background, so you have to keep that. That's in my opinion. Some of them you can't change it. I think
Mm,
Nick Fury didn't have to be a white guy, black. It's cool that it's Samuel Jackson. There's no cultural. I didn't see any cultural background. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it depends. It depends. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him, man. He's a great actor.
Mm,
One other thing, real quick, with the MCU finishing up. Did you know, bro? Funny enough, I saw this on a Piers Morgan show. I can't believe it. This was.
mm.
Did you know Michael Jackson was very close to buying Marvel back early in the early 90s when Marvel was
Yeah,
doing
when
bankruptcy and
Marvel
whatnot?
goes getting bust, isn't it? He almost bought it, man.
Bro, I had no idea. So I watched this and
Yeah.
I listened to it and I kind of researched a little bit. And my guy, like, he even spoke to Stan Lee. He wanted to be Spider-Man. He was planning to
Yeah,
do this.
yeah.
I think they were planning to buy Paramount as well and have Bay Universities and whatnot under his. Can you imagine Michael Jackson as Spider-Man? Like, all love to Michael, man, but bro, you wouldn't have been a great Spider-Man, please. But that would have been interesting, man, if Jackson owned Marvel, man. That would have been quite hilarious of what we would have got out there. Um,
Exactly.
I found that to be interesting. All right. Finishing off with um, John Wick news. Kane, Donnie Yen, the legend, is getting his own spin-off as promised. So they're writing the stories about him now, which is great. I think it's finally confirmed. I think there was like rumors, and of course, the way they set up John Wick 4, especially with that character, the Japanese girl and whatnot, who
Mm.
Kane killed her father and whatnot. There was already a setup there, but they confirmed that they're working on it, and it's great because Donnie Yang's just awesome, man. There was a couple of a trailer reaction I'd done for one of his movies coming out called The Prosecutor. The guy's movements is so good, and in John Wick 4, I was watching it on the plane ride when I was coming back from Georgia. He's just so good. He's just so good. His
No,
movement,
it's good. It's
martial
good.
arts, it's very different.
It's amazing that we're in a time now where we can get before, now we're getting movies on side characters, which is really cool. So,
Yeah.
and he was brilliant in that. So definitely looking forward to seeing it.
And
Definitely.
they could do that. I think the MCU, I do have to say the MCU, I feel like they've done a great job to kind of
Well,
open
they
that
opened
world
it
up.
up, didn't they?
Yeah,
They
open
opened
up
that
that
world.
world. So that's awesome. Star Wars Vision is to return for Volume 3. So that was a pretty cool
Cool.
animation and
I like that.
anime. Yeah, man, an anime version of Star Wars, different perspective, different imagery, different visuals on certain characters. I thought that was pretty cool. So that's coming out in 2025. Volume 3 coming out, which is cool. Mr. Kevin Smith has talked about doing a Dogma Part 2. So he
Yes.
announced it and whatnot, but he just basically goes, guys, I'm thinking about it, I'm writing about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it up. He hasn't really done it, but there's rumors that that he's gonna do it. He said he's working on it. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon potentially to return. Dogma was a funny movie, and if you're a
I
religious
love that
person,
movie.
you might get offended by it. But if you want to just watch
Yeah.
comedy and whatnot, you can sit back and just enjoy it. That was a fun movie. I just need to watch it again. It's been a while. I never forget Chris Rock when he was in that. Chris Rock when he was in that and he was talking about Jesus. And it's like, owes me 25. I'm not gonna say the first word, but
Yeah,
anybody
yeah,
owes me 25 bucks. I was like, that shit cracked me up back in the days.
yeah.
So listen, man, he's writing it. That'll be fun. I like Kevin Smith and I like Dogma, so that'll be a fun movie to watch if
No, it would
it
be, would
come
be,
out.
definitely.
Denzel Washington confirms Equalizer 4 and 5 are in the works. Listen, this Denzel Washington, after Gladiator 2, he said he's got a couple more movies and looking to retire. Equalizer's fun, bro. Like I like that Punisher story. It's kind of like that Punisher character, just the
Good
the
on him,
old
man. Good on him.
vigilante type of dude who just like boss
He's
up people and whatnot.
putting
So
his time in. He's put his time in.
yeah, get a couple extra movies until he retires, man. So that I'm looking, I would watch those. Like, no, I wouldn't have any problems with that. Cape Fear. Do you remember that movie with Robert De Niro? Back in the days, they are making a TV series. Apple's making a TV series with Javier Bardem, with
Okay.
Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese to produce, who done the first one as well, the
Okay. Wow.
original one.
Okay. That'd be good.
So that will, I think, the original directors and producers back will be good. And this Javier Bardem, I believe he's the guy in No Country for Old Men, the killer. I believe it's him, and he's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
him. He's the one. Lisan Al Gaib.
Yeah,
That's him.
he's
Yeah.
awesome. He's awesome. So if he
Yeah.
plays that Robert De Niro character, which is I can't remember, I ain't seen the movie in ages, but that creepy stalker type dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty awesome. That'd be pretty good. So something to bring him back that classic. Okay, I mentioned this. Jonathan Major's girlfriend settles the assault news and whatnot. So they might bring back. You know what? Well, there's always redemption stories. Like I said with Kang, maybe in the future bring him back. 5 years from now, you know what I mean? Give him a chance back. Kang's a time traveler, man. You can always bring him back into the MCU universe. But I don't know. See what they do, man. I think it's a bit bad sometimes. I don't know. It depends, though. He did do some bad things, so people should be punished. But really trying to understand a person, like, should their life be ruined? Do some people deserve second chances? I don't know. It depends on the crime, obviously. Some people don't. Maybe Diddy doesn't. He's a dirty bastard. But maybe Jonathan Majors. But I don't know the full story to say he should get a pass or not. I'm just saying, do certain people deserve second chances? And I believe so. Depends on individuals and their individual
No,
case.
exactly. No, 100%. 100%. I agree with you on that. 100%. Redemption, man. Everybody gets some redemption, innit?
Yeah, some people don't deserve that shit, man. Like that Yahoo bastard, that he deserves to
Yeah,
go.
no,
Cool. Don't want to get too much deep into that again, bro. That was all the news, all the things we watched. It's been when this comes out, it'll be 4 weeks since the last podcast. That's why there was a lot to talk about. But that was everything for this time. The next time, I think we should do it in person. If not, it might be our last digital one. And then we'll just start doing them in person for a couple of weeks when I'll be in London. So I'm looking forward to that. But guys, like I said, if you haven't subscribed, please do. We've been getting some great traction recently after we got shadow banned. So it's great to come back with this comeback, which is awesome. And Kibler, man, why don't you take us out, man?
No, awesome, guys. As always, thank you so much for the support on the channel. But if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now, man. Come on, guys. 70% of you watch the product, the videos we do, and you guys are not subscribed. So subscribe, hit the bell button, so every time you get notified, every time we do a video. Also, follow us on our social media journeys, and yeah, massive thank you as always. I think it's been a really good influx on YouTube at the moment, which is absolutely amazing. And I think if going forward, if we concentrate on the YouTube, the rest will grow anyway. So I would say subscribe, hit that notification bell here, and we catch you up on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.